What's happening, guys? So I got some exciting stuff going on here. I ordered the brake lines and the bias valve from Chase Bays. As you can see, they changed the way this mounts, which is actually beneficial to me because I had very limited room over here. But this, I tried to tighten this a bit more to get it clocked to the right angle, but it's very tight. They use some kind of, Teflon paste or glue to seal it well. So I'm gonna hit them up and ask them if it's safe to put it in the press or put it in a vise and try it once more, or if I should just send it back and they'll just send me one with the right angle. I didn't know they changed the positioning of this, so I kind of messed up on the rear line. I told them to put a 90 because I thought it was gonna come out somewhere else. But it looks like I'll actually have just barely enough room to squeeze past the steering column, so that should actually work out. Here's some of the lines. They're just PVC coated AN stainless line with just AN fittings on the end. And then I'm still gonna have to order the actual caliper lines from them as well so that I can adapt it, or I think they'll just go straight to each other. I have to ask them about that, or I have to buy adapters and get some different lines or whatever. But you can see I got this one ran through. I had to cut the grommet a hair. This one's a little longer than I wanted it to be, but it's alright. It's just gonna have a little bit of a loop in it. No biggie. But got that. I also got the fuel line to run to the rear. So as soon as we're done with this Jeep, I don't know if it's gonna be today or not, but I'm gonna try to get this thing back on the lift. I'm going to get all these brake lines ran to each position. I'm gonna hit up Chase Bays and see what they say about this. I'm gonna ask them if their caliper lines are a direct fit to these lines here with no adapters. And then also I need to order a vacuum bleeder to try and bleed this clutch slave cylinder, because I've been trying to bleed it manually and I've just been having no luck with it. And I've heard that it's nearly impossible to bleed manually. You'll have to get the majority of the air out with a vacuum bleeder. So I'm going to order one of those off Amazon. I'm just going to get the cheap $30 one. It's got good reviews. So yeah, just a little update. What up, guys? Happy 4th of July. I had to work a half day today, but I figured I'd come down here and mess with this clutch system since I got this bleeder in the mail the other day. I don't know what I'm doing wrong, but I'm not getting any fluid pulling through this line. That's all hooked up and full. The bleeder's obviously cracked open. At first I was getting a little tiny bit of fluid, but then it never came solid and it just stopped pulling any fluid altogether. I don't know if I have a clog in that line there or what's going on, but it seems like the slave cylinder is just not getting any fluid to it. So if anybody has any tips on what to do here, that would be greatly appreciated. I'm gonna look this up in a minute here and see if Google or the forums have any suggestions. I'm almost starting to think that my master cylinder isn't being pushed in far enough. Like, I don't know if it has to go farther than that. That looks pretty good to me, but I don't know how far it's actually supposed to go. It seems to be catching the stop, so the pedal's going the full movement. Maybe I can just adjust that rod some more. I think I adjusted it last week to try to get some more movement out of it, and it didn't really seem to change much. I know you're kind of supposed to bench bleed these before you install them, but any suggestions would be helpful. I'm gonna do some research, see what I can figure out. Besides that, Have a happy 4th of July, and thanks for watching, guys. I'm setting you guys up to try and see if this bench bleed is working. I disconnected the line from the sleeve and then just put it back in the top of the master, and I'm gonna pump it manually with my hand, not with the clutch pedal, and I just want to see in the video if any bubbles come out. You'll be able to hear me over the compressor. We are getting a little bit of fluid. I don't know if you can see that. It's probably hard to see, but if you look at that, you can see we are collecting a little fluid. There you go. What I'm reading is that we basically, in order to get all this air out, the easiest way is going to be to unbolt that sleeve and lift it to the highest point, and then go from there. Because right now it's so low down that all the air is just collecting. So what we're going to do is pull this intercooler off and then unbolt that sleeve and keep vacuum bleeding it and see if we make any progress and if it seems to collect more fluid or not. This will be a lot easier to work with. So we're going to take the two 12 mils off, and we'll pull the sleeve up and position it so that it's the highest point in the system. And hopefully we can get this bled. Alright, I managed to get them both loose without taking the starter out. I just used an extension underneath the starter for the one. And this one up here, I just used the ratchet and socket until I couldn't go any farther. Now I'm just going to use the ratcheting wrench. It's way too hot in here. This might take a minute, so I'll either fast forward it or just skip past this until I can get it with my hand. I'm gonna try right now. It's still too tight. Alright, we'll pause this and get that out and continue. Alright guys, we got it out of there. I'm holding the pin in and it's the highest point right now, but I'm still not getting any fluid. I don't really understand what's going on here. The only thing I can think of is that line right there that's bent. That is actually a little higher than the bleeder. But I don't think that it would be getting trapped in there. But it's a possibility. I think what I'm going to do is set up a C-clamp to hold the pin all the way in. I'm going to close this bleeder. And I'm going to pump it inside the car again and then crack the bleeder and see if we get any air like that. Maybe do that a few times and then hook this vacuum back up. If we don't get any progress soon, I'm going to head home. I'm heading home soon either way. It's way too hot in here. But I would really like to see this clutch system working a little better. So we'll see what we can do. Alright guys, that seemed to work a little bit. What I'm gonna do is just take the pin out of the rod from the clutch pedal and just pump the master manually, and hopefully I can start to get some sort of feeling from it. You know, I'm gonna spend 5 minutes with this. If that doesn't seem to work, then I'm just gonna go ahead and call it a day and head home. Let's see what happens. Alright guys, I had no luck with any of that. I'm giving up. It's way too hot in here. I don't. This will probably give you a better view of the booster lines. That was good. This is the one I was talking about. This fitting needs to come over here. They originally gave it to me for the other mounting for the bias valve. But you can see I got this line ran into that caliper. I got this one ran over here to the other caliper. A little long, but I'm just gonna tuck it down, tuck it real far back in there to take up that slack over there. And then the last one, the rear line, is going out and down. Like I said in the last video, I probably should have done a straight fitting right there. I hit up Chase Base to see what they said, if they could possibly redo it for me, and also to see what they said about that. I'm still waiting to hear back. They probably took took a few extra days off for the holiday, I'm assuming. But alright, I'm gonna do some research tonight and see if there's any better methods for bleeding this clutch or for the slave cylinder. What I was thinking is maybe I'll even just get a new slave, master, and clutch line, all just to save any possible issues. Maybe the clutch line is damaged in some way, or the master and the slave just sat dry for too long, which is very possible. Sat dry for probably over a year and a half. So I'll see what the cost is on those. I plan on getting an upgraded stainless clutch line regardless, so that that was going to happen either way. I was also wondering if maybe the angle of this master is an issue. So I see that the lines are not exactly even. Maybe I should have clocked that back a little bit. I can still try to do that. I'll just have to fill up on the bottom side of that and shave down some on the top side where it mounts there. Alright, I'm going to do some research tonight and see what I can come up with, and I really hope we can get this clutch working soon. Besides that, once again, happy 4th of July, and have a good weekend, guys.